Setting up campaigns in Pitchbox isn't about getting prospects. It's about getting the right type of prospect and reach out to them in a way that gets results. Even if you've set up campaigns in Pitchbox before, stick around anyway. I have plenty of tricks to make your outreach even more effective. I'm Alex Kapshin, co-founder of Pitchbox, and in this video, I'll walk you through creating a campaign for my fictitious barbecue site, flairedflavor.com, targeting grilling experts and recipe sites focusing on outdoor cooking. First, I'll show you how to create a campaign with the right keywords and filters to find high-quality sites. Next, we'll set up AI-powered fields that help qualify prospects and add natural personalization to our emails. Then I'll show you how to quickly review and qualify sites to ensure you're reaching out to the most relevant prospects. And finally, we'll create winning email templates using our AI template assistant to get those high response rates. Let's dive in. I'm going to start at my campaign Flair Flavor, and I'm going to click on New Campaigns. Now, Pitchbox offers a number of different prospecting profiles. Those include blogger outreach, guest post finder, blog category search, and so on. And also below that, we have integration campaigns. So you can pull data directly from Ahrefs, SEMrush, Moz, Majestic, and so on. Now, for this particular video, I will demonstrate a blogger outreach campaign, which is a search-based campaign. And what search means is that Pitchbox scrolls the web. It pulls data from search engines to find these new opportunities for you. Now, this campaign is about grilling safety, so we'll name it as such. Now, on the right-hand side, we have a number of settings that we can change. So things like approval workflow, which we'll talk about in a different video. Find contacts. Yes, definitely. I want Pitchbox to run a contact finder so I can start reaching out to specific people within those sites. Deduplication is important. I don't want to have sites come up in this campaign that I already have in this project. We're going to run our keyword search. Well, I'll use a keyword assistant to find keywords that we should use to perform the search. Just like when you go to Google and you use keywords to find sites, in Pitchbox, you do the same thing for search-based campaigns in Pitchbox. So for the template category, we'll use keyword generator, and I'll select keyword assistant. That keyword assistant will prompt me for 3 topics, and we're going to go with grilling safety. Safe grilling, and topic 3, we'll use grill maintenance. For topic category, we'll choose recipe and cooking. We'll select 8 keywords and ask AI to generate those keywords for us. As you can see, the results are long tail keywords. They're almost like titles of the posts. Now, that's what Keyword Assistant does. It goes for very detailed, very long keywords. If we were to utilize the Keyword Expander, that's going to be much shorter type keywords. But I like to go long because it's going to find specific things for me. So instead of just searching for generic safe grilling keywords, it's going to dive deep, right, with avoiding common grilling hazards in recipes. It's really going to find the type of sites that I want or blog posts that I want. All right, so we'll insert the keyword list into our campaign, scroll down, and this is very important. We want to make sure to select the sites based on their SEO metrics, those that I actually want to reach out to, those that I want to build a relationship and eventually get a link from. Now, I already have the Ahrefs DR50 Plus selected, but you could create your own metric filters and save them. And let's say if I select low quality, obviously it changes. I'm going to go for DR50 Plus. I click on next. Pitchbox will go to work. So everything is going to happen in real time. When Pitchbox campaign starts, specifically for the search-based campaigns, everything happens in real time. There's no database that Pitchbox goes to extract these sites. It actually runs in real time, and it checks it against SERPs to make sure that these sites are actually ranking in Google today. Now, the campaigns do take a couple of minutes to run, so let's see what happens in just a minute. All right, our campaign finished running. It looks like we've started with lots of sites, but then after the metrics filter, we ended up with 336, which is great. That means that so many sites that did not meet our criteria, we don't have to waste our time in reviewing these sites. Pitchbox did the work for us. Now, in addition, we see that we have a 90% CSR, which is basically 90% of those 336 sites already have contact information. So we're in pretty good shape.
It's nice.
Now, here we're presented with a list of sites that Pitchbox actually discovered. But it's a lot of sites for us to go through to make sure they are what we want. So we're going to be heading over to our personalization fields and setting up a couple of AI personalization fields. Now, right from the start, you can see you have blog name and recent blog posts. These are not AI fields. These are basically Pitchbox crawling the pages, pulling data, and extracting things like title of the site, but it's just done without AI, and it's there by default. Now, I'm going to create AI fields, and instead of writing my AI prompt from scratch, I'm going to use the field prompts that are already pre-built for me by Pitchbox. So first of all, I'm going to use qualification AI personalization. and that's going to be in the qualification tab, and I'll select content relevant score. Now, as you can see, Pitchbox automatically gave me a pretty detailed AI prompt that's already pre-built for me. All I really have to change is the your topic. My topic is grilling, and I'm going to rename this to CRS grilling for content relevance score. Now, I have to validate my prompt so that the prompt itself is valid for Pitchbox to run through our AI engine, and I'm getting an effectiveness score of 92. That's good for me. However, unless you get 100, Pitchbox will give you some suggestions into improvement. But again, anything over 90 is perfect. So I'll click on Add Field, and I'm going to set up another one related to maintenance. Again, I'll click on Validate Prompt. In this case, I have 100%. This is perfect. And now we have 2 of our fields set up. Now, I do want to set up 2 more AI fields, and those are going to be specifically for my outreach email template. I'll head over to Personalization tab, and I will select a subject line in a statement form. So this is already, again, pre-built for me. It's just going to be analyzing the content of the page and trying to come up with an enticing subject line. Obviously, every subject line is going to be unique for every email, which is exactly what I want. I got 100% score, perfect, add field. And then we're going to do one more, and this is going to be to praise the author for their content. And we have a content praise prompt, validate prompt. I got 100%, perfect, add fields. So now I have 4 of my fields, which is going to be content relevance score on a scale of 1 to 10 for grilling and maintenance. And I also have a subject line and a content praise, which I will be able to use in my email templates. Now let's head over to inspection and personalization. So since we set up our AI fields, we can see them here. Select all of these opportunities and click on AI Personalize. And Pitchbox is going to work. Now, really what's happening behind the scenes right now is Pitchbox going to every single URLs that it discovered for these sites, breaking the content down into structured data. It's looking at H1, H2, H3s, title tags, headers. It's looking at footer, links, metadata, even open graph. And as you can see, Pitchbox can pull a lot of that data. And when you're writing your AI prompts, you can utilize all of the structured data in your AI prompt. What these grilling content relevance score and a maintenance content relevance score is basically telling us is that I can quickly spot that some of these sites do not meet our criteria or do not meet our relevance. So for grilling and maintenance, I see those are 3 and 4, not a good fit. Here I have 9 and 2. I can make some decisions. It's related to grilling, that's great, but not maintenance. That still is okay, and I can see that the subject line it's built for me is grilling tips for summer delight. Now, this one has a high maintenance, but not on grilling. So most likely it might be something maintenance related to something else other than grilling. So I want to get rid of the sites that don't meet my criteria. Now, if I hover over my fields, Pitchbox will give me abbreviations. For this one's, it's CG. And I'll say anything that less than 6 or CM is less than 6. Now I have a bunch of sites that don't meet my criteria. I'll select all of them and I'll click on delete. I also have the option of adding them to a blacklist so that they never show up again in any of my campaigns or the entire account for that matter. So I'll click on delete. Now that I have my list of sites that I want to reach out to based on the content relevance score, I want to actually see those contacts that I'm going to be reaching out to and actual sites I want to visualize. So I'll click on the URL and it brings a site viewer right inside Pitchbox. Not only the site viewer itself, where I can actually see the website, and then I can take a number of actions here. So on the right-hand side, I have contact info. So I see a number of people that I can reach out to. If there's specific people that I want to reach out to based on their titles, let's say I see Rachel's a reporter, but I might want to reach out to online services manager first, I can move Jordan up higher. Now, the reason you might want to shift them up and down is because when Pitchbox starts the outreach process, it actually uses the position that you've set here to send in emails. And one important thing, and also it's going to be in some other videos, how Pitchbox sends emails, it's not going to blast all these people at once. It's going to first reach out to Rachel. It's going to wait a couple days, send a follow-up to Rachel, wait a couple days, send another follow-up. If Rachel does not respond, only then it moves to the next contact in line, which is Jordan in this case. If I'm working with other team members, I can mark this as passed for them to go through and just deal with it later. Whatever the process you have in place, you might say, well, I'm actually reviewing the sites. Yes, the site passes, meaning that I do want to reach out to them and somebody else on your team actually goes through the contact discovery. But if you're doing everything by yourself, you don't really need to pass it. You could just click on submit to compose. And what Pitchbox will do is actually mark it as passed. assign that action to you and move it to the next phase in line. And that's what I'm going to do since I'm the only person. I'm kind of managing the outreach here. And I don't mind that I have a bunch of emails here. It doesn't mean I'm going to reach out to all of them. Again, if Rachel responds, perfect. I don't have to reach out to anyone else. So I don't have to delete any of those contacts, but you can if you'd like. Now submit to compose. And that's going to pop the next opportunity in line for me. Is this a good site for me to reach out to? Does it fit my idea of my campaign? It does. That's perfect. Again, I can see people on the right-hand side. For some of them, if we're missing the name, like Jane, for example, it's really easy for me to actually figure out that this person name is Jane. And since we're probably going to be greeting them with that, I can say Jane for the first name and save. And now you've updated this information. I'll submit to compose, and then I move on to the next step in line. These sites that I've just moved to compose, they're here for me to reach out to, but we haven't set up our email template yet. So let's go set up our email template, and then we'll come back to the compose to get those emails out. So we'll head over to our templates and email sequence. We'll select our email accounts that we'd like to use for our outreach, and I'm going to select my Flair Flavor accounts. I do want to activate email rotation, so I will select multiple email accounts that I've connected into Pitchbox. So I'll click on Add Email Template and actually build our email template from scratch utilizing AI Template Assistant. So Pitchbox has a number of different categories like guest posts, pitch templates, user prompts, and conversation opener. For the purpose of this video, I'll just do a conversation opener. We'll go something really simple and we'll do generic praise. Since we did create a personalization field that praises them on their content, we're going to use this as a conversation opener to get a conversation going. I'm going to enter grilling expert. And for AI instructions, we use praise author for great content on a topic of grilling. My output is going to be, let's say, 200 to 400 words. And I have some options for AI enhancement. I can include emojis, specify where I want them, we'll have them throughout, and whether or not I want to add spin tags. I'll click on generate. Now, this is great. I can add this to my email template. And although it gave me a pretty decent subject line, I do want to utilize my subject line. So that's going to be the subject line engaging statement. So I definitely want to include my content praise. So I would read through this email template and try to figure out where I could put it. But I'm just going to put the content praise at the top without putting too much work into this. And then we'll see what happens. All right, now we can click on save. And if I click on Smart Preview, Pitchbox will pull in a random opportunity from our campaign and fill this data in so we can actually see what that email template looks like. All right, so we can see that a number of those fields are highlighted in green. That means this is what the personalization data is. So we could see that we have the subject line already personalized. We have the name and obviously our content praise. And the content praise is unique because it's tied specifically to this opportunity. And below that, you have data from MX It's an email deliverability tool that Pitchbox has built, and it does a lot of things. But here is evaluating our email template and make sure that our email, once it's created and sent, it actually delivers into the inbox. So if your MX risk score is on the medium or high side, obviously you want to work on your email template to make sure that the risk is very low to get your emails into the inbox. Now I'm going to save my template and I will quickly set up a follow-up, and I'll do this real quick. For the follow-up email for the subject line, I don't need to get creative. I can click on previous email subject line. So it'll start actually threading the emails into the recipient's inbox. I'll hit save. And this is what my follow-up email is going to look like. We also run it through the MX tooling. Save template. And now I have both of my email templates set up. I would recommend setting up all three. But for the purpose of this video, we'll jump back into Compose tab. And now we can simply select these opportunities. And we have two options to send emails. One is launch outreach sequence. It's basically going to take our email template and the information that we've gathered using AI or manually inputted the data into the opportunity and generate the email for outreach. Or if I don't feel comfortable with that, you have the option of preview and send. So preview and send will actually build those emails. As you can see, we have a lot of emails. Remember, we had Rachel, we had some other folks on that list, and now we are up to 24 emails. So for this particular website, we might send them 24 emails, but again, we won't send 24 as long as we get a response from someone. And here's an initial email to Rachel, and here's what the follow-up to Rachel would look like. And if Rachel does not respond, that's when we're going to move to Jordan, and so on and so forth. So once I click on send, it pops the next opportunity in line for me. And now, as you can see, we're going through eatyourbooks.com. That's your next website. And this is up to 6 emails because we have 3 contacts, 2 attempts. I can click on send, and it basically adds it to the sequence. You have the option of editing the email before you send, but the goal is to obviously speed up and utilize as much of automation as possible to go through that process very quickly. And that's the process of setting up a complete outreach campaign in Pitchbox. If you follow these steps, you'll have a campaign that gets results. See you in the next one.